Well, good evening, everyone. I'm Alvin King, host of He Said, He Said, He Said. A look at the world from a seasoned Black man's perspective. Welcome to our Friday, March the 15th live show. We are so glad that you all are joining us tonight. Um, Wherever you are in this world, did you have a touch of spring this week? I can tell you DC was absolutely incredible. I mean, I think one day it even got up to like 80 degrees, if I'm not sure. I mean, people were outside, no coats, no scarves, or whatever. Now, granted, they may be sick next week, but we're going to wish them the best and hope that they will keep themselves, healthy and definitely happy because there were some happy faces around DC this week. Um, Last week, we kicked off a wonderful series, ladies and gentlemen, here on the show called March for Art. And we are highlighting artists from around the world. We have four incredible artists that are joining us this week. And like last week, I mentioned that, art can help us understand our history, our culture, and lives and experience others in ways that cannot be achieved through other means. And it can also be a source of inspiration, reflection, and joy. And tonight, we have the Atlanta-based mixed media artist, Cyrus A. Nelson is with us, ladies and gentlemen. When I tell you this young, talented brother, he is just brilliant with his artistry. And we are so glad to have him here. We're going to talk with him. It's funny how sometimes you meet people and it's the most quiet, like people that you meet and you think that they may be like in the background, but this brother is like a powerhouse. And when you see his art, like I said, please follow him. We'll give you all that information as we go through the show. I'm sure you all heard that the judge ruled that Fani Willis can stay on Trump's Georgia election case. And for those of you who don't know who Fani Willis is, she is the DA over the Atlanta 2020 election interference case. And her special prosecutor, Nathan Wade, he resigned today. And I'm glad he did because she had the choice to make. But if Willis, was removed, it may have jeopardized the case completely because her entire staff would be prohibited from trying Trump and his co-defendants. But that's not the case. And, as far as I'm concerned, the judge, I'm all about reputation. And the judge just completely, in my mind, as much as it was a win for the DA because they can move forward with the trial, your reputation is important. And, there was a 23-page opinion that was scathing, and it rebuked the district attorney's actions. And it just remains unclear if she will face trial before November on this action after the 2020 presidential election. And I just wish Fani Willis well. I'm glad that she's moving forth because, Donald Trump is in the business of just stalling. And I think that's what they're doing. And so I'm just glad that we can kind of move through this case, but please pray for her because they will use every tactic possible to keep coming at her in light of this situation. And as many of you know, it is Black History Month. And we said for this month that we would honor a woman in our history. And today we're going to honor Shirley Anita St. Hill Chisholm. She was born in Brooklyn, New York, to immigrant parents who came to the United States from Barbados. Chisholm graduated from Brooklyn College and the Teachers College at Columbia University. In 1968, she became the first Black woman elected to the United States Congress and represented New York's 12th congressional district for 7 terms from 1969 to 1983. Legislation she introduced also focused on gender and racial equality and ending the Vietnam War. In 1971, she became a founding member of the Congressional Black Caucus. But it was in the 1972 United States presidential election, she became the first Black candidate to seek a major party's nomination for president of the United States and the first woman to run for the Democratic Party presidential nomination. After that unsuccessful bid for president, Chisholm continued serving on the House of Representatives, and in 1977, she was elected as Secretary of the House Democrats Caucus. And lastly, Chisholm retired from Congress in 1983, where she was succeeded by Major Owens, and she received posthumously the Presidential Medal of Freedom. And I want you all, if you're around, the Netflix original Shirley Fearless Fierce First, portrayed and produced by super actress Regina King, will premiere on March the 22nd. And the writer John Ridley, who wrote 12 Years a Slave, he said that, the movie does not try to tell Chisholm's cradle to grave tale, but instead zeroes in on the extraordinary time in this country where a feisty Black woman dared to stand up to her party's power structure and put herself in the running for president. I hope every Black mother, every Black father, put your child in front of that TV on March the 22nd in front of Netflix and get a look at this movie. I think it's going to be great. Well, time to get on with our show, ladies and gentlemen, so we can speak to some of y'all who's on here tonight. So if you all are ready, let's get on with the chat.
Hello, y'all.
Look!
Hey.
I was like, have I been replaced?
Well,
oh
Impossible.
my God.
you cannot be replaced, Bobby.
Oh, thank you guys.
How you doing, man?
I'm well. I'm well.
Come on now, shake it off. Shake it off.
Shake it off.
Shake it off. And that is not a tribute or to Taylor Swift. Shake it off. Just shake it off. Just shake it off. But good evening, fellas. Good evening.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Can we say hi to these folks who have come on to greet Cyrus tonight? Okay.
Absolutely.
We got Monica. Herbert Wilson is here. Hey, Herbert. Blue is here. Blue. Okay, Blue said something about Fanny. I'm sure he did. So we're going to get to that. George Pringle, AK, thanks for joining us. P. Michael.
Hey,
I've never seen P. Michael. So
hello, P. Michael.
Welcome. And JJ just gives us separate greetings, you all. So all
I know. Look at that.
Hey JJ, and J Time. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Absolutely.
I hope you all are here for this great show. Yes. So it has been a week, and I'm telling y'all, if we were to do a Let's Get Newsy tonight,
oh my God,
we would have to extend the show to an hour and a half.
There was a lot of stuff happening this week.
A lot happening this week. Well, one thing for sure, last week during the show, I'm gonna say the Oscar goes to Saturday Night Live for its portrayal of, did they not do a Katie Britt skit that just blew it out the water? Was that not? I mean,
I was wondering who they were going to cast to do it, and I was thinking that they were going to use one of their regular cast members, but no, they went outside and got, well, she's kind of as close as you can be to a cast member because she's married to Colin Jost, but Scarlett Johansson, came in and nailed it.
Yes,
bingo.
And it was so funny because she's the butt of their jokes on
a lot.
Weekend Update,
exactly.
Yeah, so it's great to see her. She did an amazing job. As creepy as Katie was, it was awesome.
If not more. Particularly when she pulled out the teacup, the Get Out.
Oh!
I guess. Yeah.
I had to explain that to somebody who had not seen Get Out. I didn't know that if she did, maybe she didn't, but when Scarlett Johansson did the thing with the cross and rubbed her hand across the cross and said that's what she was selling, I almost flipped off my couch. I keep replaying that.
That's hilarious.
That was funny. Well, yeah, that was good. So Saturday Night Live, get in line for a for an Emmy for that. That was great. And speaking of awards, we know that the Oscars happened last Sunday, and if y'all want to take a little trip down memory lane and talk about some of the highlights from the Oscars tonight, how about that?
I think everybody's expecting us to.
You think you want to do that?
Before it even got started on the red carpet, Liza Koshy had a little spill. Now she
Oh.
looked fabulous, fabulous, right? In her little pleaser heel, took a couple of steps, and then boom! Look at that shoe, y'all.
Look at the front of that shoe and that heel.
And the heel, right?
How would one be expected to walk in that?
Well, usually you have a pole to hold on to, but she was just walking on the red carpet.
Pole to, oh my God, Vash.
What?
I have all the respect in the world for women and what they go through to enhance their beauty.
It is amazing.
It is amazing. So shout out to all the women for all that you go through, but you have to think before you walk, okay? Because there is no way that she could have, there's no way, those shoes, there was no way that she didn't think I'm going to fall tonight.
But do you think it's the combination of that shoe and a particularly long dress? I think that combination was not a good combo.
Well, what would you wear those shoes with, by tell? Pray tell.
A ballet flat.
with the mini skirt? I mean, you know, what's I'm saying, really?
Some pencil pants.
Okay.
Pencil
I mean, come on now. That was like, okay.
But something that you would wear it with something that would not interfere with it. Like she couldn't even see where she was walking as a result. That's all I'm saying. Like it's so long. She is literally walking in the dark, literally. Oh, yes, on shoes this high. So,
well,
but
I'm not
trying
to.
And she felt that she did an amazing job. She held her head high. You know, what are you going to do? You fall, you're at the Oscars, red carpet. She just blended for a quick second and then she got back up and kept it moving.
And luckily she had on a red dress, so she just blended right on in with the carpet.
She really recovered.
Where'd she go? Oh, here she is.
Well, as Donnie McClurkin said, we fall down and we get up. And host Jimmy Kimball, I mean, he did an excellent job as the host, I thought. I thought he was absolutely incredible, and he did not disappoint on any level, to be honest. And there were two things that stood out for me. First of all, there were people are criticizing him for, you know, talking about Robert Downey Jr., who was the winner of who got the Best Actor award. He talked about his drug problem, but I didn't see a problem with it. I think Robert Downey Jr. even played into it because, I mean, you know, he's been very public about his rehab and, you know, and all of that. So but you know, people need to just simmer down now. You can't do anything without offending somebody's doing something.
The way that Robert Downey responded to it led me to believe, you know, that there had probably been some advance notice and that, you know, the joke was coming. But they also have a very long-standing personal relationship as well. Mm-hmm. So I think that was also something to factor into him being able to do it.
Well, Robert Downey Jr. wasn't off the hook completely himself because he's being called out for being racist for ignoring Ke Huy Quan, who gave him the actual Oscar for as best actor in a movie, and people saying that he didn't speak to him, that he basically ignored him, and the way that people are talking about it, like it was so blatant and so blunt. I haven't been able to find what would have caused him to do that. I like Robert Downey Jr., but I don't know what. But evidently, it's making headlines.
Well, I mean, when you win an Academy Award, I have to assume that very little is registering in your psyche other than get up on that stage and please don't make a fool out of myself as I'm giving this speech. So all the other love.
And don't forget anybody.
Exactly, right? So I would show him some grace in that arena. I didn't really see the moment you're talking about, but I would give him a lot of grace.
I watched the whole show and didn't see any of that, Vash, you know, to be honest with you. And I agree with you. And Vash, I know you have 6 Emmys. And so I just know that you know how that feels. And so I get it. Thank you. I appreciate you. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I just told a fib. He only has 5. Okay. All right.
And I am going to let that manifest. Let it sit and manifest. Everybody, if you were by your keyboards, just put in a little amen in the
amen. Watch the amens come in. Watch them come in.
Indeed, yes, indeed. So while we are waiting for those to come in, let's talk about John Cena and the stunt that they pulled with him showing up seemingly naked with a Rolex and some Birkenstocks and an envelope as they were announcing the nominees for Best Costume Design. I thought it was a very, very clever sketch to really accentuate the importance of costume.
Mm-hmm. I thought it was brilliant also. I agree with you. Yeah. I thought it was. I talked to Bobby afterwards. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Bobby.
No, go ahead. What are you going to say?
No, I talked to Bobby afterwards, and we were talking about it, and Bobby was like, I would have preferred to see someone else. And I was like, okay, Bobby, I'm not going to talk to you. I'm just going to live in my John Cena moment right now, and I'm going to call you back tomorrow. Okay.
So we did talk about it. Say that because there was a meme that went around that said John Cena comes up on stage naked. The women and gay men are like, "Oh, look at him," and all the lesbians are like, "Are those new Birkenstocks?"
Exactly.
So I'm trying to where you fall.
But he did bring to me, that was a great highlight, and I also want to give whoever produced the Oscars another highlight, because the way they presented the top Oscar winners, I thought absolutely incredible for Best Actor, Best Actress, Best Supporting Actor, and Best Supporting Actor and Actress nominee. The way they did it, how they brought up past awardees. I think we have an image of how they did that. They brought up, these are the top 4 winners, and they brought up different people or actors who have won in that category to introduce them. And there were some very nice introductions. I thought some of their introductions were nice, even if they didn't know the people personally. I thought it was great.
I thought it was great too. I really did. Before we move on to our next item, though, I did see a question here by one of my boys, Gregory Booth, who was asking the question whether or not we believe that the stunt or the skit that John Cena participated in would have been received the same if it had been a black man on stage naked versus him. Actually, the person that I had been speaking to Alvin about when we called was actually Sterling K. Brown, was the person that I had thought about. But he raises a good question, whether or not in this climate and in this day, would it have been received any differently, guys, you think, if it had been Sterling K. Brown? Acceptable or pushback or better or anything?
My opinion would be, yes, it would have been received, especially if you sent Idris Elba out on the stage like that. First of all, there would have been a lot of Caucasian women getting up, running out of the theater. Number one.
I'm sorry. Who did you say?
I said Caucasian women running out of the theater.
I was talking about who did you? I was talking about Idris.
I'm saying so, Gregory. I definitely see your point, but even if we go back to, and I don't mean to bombard your question, Bobby, but even going back to what's his name? The guy who you just said,
Sterling K. Brown.
Sterling K. Brown. If you saw the movie American Fiction, Sterling K. Brown did his work to make that body look good in that movie. And if he had done that, we'd still be talking about it today.
Well, the thing is, it wasn't received well by everybody. You know that there were some on the religious right-ish side who were offended and thought it was the worst thing in the world. So you're going to have a bell curve of acceptance regardless of who was out there. So I think we should just do it every week and see who.
Well, if nothing else, as you pointed out, Vash, I think it was a very clever way to talk about the importance and significance of wardrobe in a film. So, but in addition to that really interesting stunt, there were also some really impressive and moving speeches. Everything that included some of the political views of some of the recipients, but also some very personal and emotional speeches. And one in particular was by Davine Joy Reynolds, who won for her role in The Leftovers. Speaking
the Holdovers.
I'm sorry. The Holdovers. I'm sorry. I kept saying not the Leftovers, the Holdovers. That's right.
It's a live show, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, we did.
Not the Leftovers. I apologize.
It's not a movie about leftover meatloaf and potatoes.
It's the Holdovers.
Bobby had a Shirley Caesar moment. I promise you. Okay.
I did. Obviously, I've not had my dinner this evening.
Okay. Okay, but yeah,
But
continue,
it
please.
was the holdovers, and she played this incredible woman who had lost her son. I don't want to tell too much for those who haven't seen it, but in her speech, she spoke about really kind of channeling women who had impacted her, in particular her grandmother. She actually wore her grandmother's glasses as she did the film, but she also spoke very eloquently about, you know, as a person who is a Black woman, a larger woman, and so forth, that she spent so much time trying to be something other than who she is, and yet when she was able to really kind of embrace and celebrate who she is, that is when she has received the highest award within the industry. And so it was a wonderful speech about self-acceptance, and it was joined by other very powerful speeches as well. And we also,
she's from my neighborhood.
Is she?
Like over there, like blocks away from where I live right now. So, hey, Philly.
Hey, so divine.
And it was also a very interesting year, as we were talking about Sterling K. Brown, but also mentioning Jeffrey Wright, who was up for an award for Best Actor for his role in American Fiction. Sterling K. Brown was up for an award, and of course Coleman Domingo for his portrayal of Bayard Rustin. So you know, having these three men up here for this these high levels of awards was something very impressive. And there's Jeffrey Wright, and of course, you guys know I had the pleasure of actually meeting Jeffrey Wright earlier this week at the Kennedy Center. So it was a moment to be remembered.
See,
y'all look like y'all related.
You do. You've already said Bobby resembles him, and Bobby had posted enough pictures beside him and Jeffrey Wright that if y'all know his personal page, you can't tell the difference between the two. And they're not airbrushed.
They're not airbrushed, no.
They're not airbrushed, but you two do favor.
Well, he was very gracious. It was very nice to meet him. A high honor.
Well, is he coming on the show?
You said what?
Is he coming on the show?
Next week. Yeah. And he'll be bringing your sixth Emmy.
My sixth Emmy. Amen.
Well, look, you guys, ladies and gentlemen, and first of all, a quick shout out to thank you, Gregory, for being here. Sean, thank you for being here. I think I saw a couple of other people who we haven't. Errol, thank you for being here.
There was somebody from Atlanta that was saying that they hello as well.
Let me see from Atlanta. Let me scroll up.
It was a special shout out from Atlanta.
Okay, hold on. Who was that?
There it is.
That was P. Michael.
Okay.
Hey, P. Michael, thank you for being here tonight. Well, you know, guys, we couldn't let you all go because, you know, the Oscars was all about the fashions. And for the next 3 minutes, we're going to give you our 3 favorites and our 1 worst fashion look of the night. So, Bobby, take it away, please. Okay,
my favorite, you guys know I love her. She always brings it. Zendaya. She was wearing Armani Privé in this beautiful floral color, a very slender gown. I thought she looked absolutely lovely. My next one, in terms of fit, this tuxedo, I think is pretty sweet and it fits really well. It's Justin Timberlake, and he is wearing Fendi right here. I love the cut of it. It's traditional to a certain degree, but it also has a really creative slant to it. So it didn't get crazy. My next one was the best Yes, We're Divorced, Look at What You've Given Up dress that showed up at the Vanity Fair party. That's Jodie Turner-Smith, who I don't like a lot of overshare, and I think since J-Lo's green dress, Versace dress, I haven't seen a whole lot of strategically placed elegance like this, but I thought Jodie Turner turned it out at the Vanity Fair party. The miss for me was Emily Ratajkowski, and I think we have one other shot that may show a little more closely. No. The other one didn't come out. Okay, so you can't see, but the top of the dress is really almost like detached. It's like this piece of plastic that just kind of extends, and she's really left completely exposed up top. And you know, I love a good sexy look, but I think there is something to be said about being overexposed, and I just think it wasn't very tasteful to me. So, those are my 3 wins.
It was quite tasteless.
And there you have it. Yeah. So those are my Oscar fashion choices.
Well, you got a sneak peek at my top 3 first. One of my top 3, Lupita Nyong'o. I thought her Armani dress was actually incredible, but then she can wear anything. Her stylist, Michaela Erlanger, just did a wonderful job. Now, this dress was pulled for her in 2020, but she didn't wear it because of COVID. And so she put it in her closet and pulled it out for this. Okay, so how about that? My next was Carrie Mulligan in custom Balenciaga. This was from a 1951. I love old glamour, old school glamour. And this, you have to have the right body. I thought she was in this gown and it just made great picture. And it was styled by Andrew McCalmo and did a great job. And this next person, Laverne Cox. I am not always a fan of Laverne Cox, but she was on that red carpet this year giving it. And it was only when she was interviewing the actress, she's Marley Maple. I think she's deaf. Marley
Matlin.
Marley Matlin, and she had an interpreter, and so the interpreter spoke. And when it came time for Marley Matlin to speak, Laverne put the mic to her mouth, and she went, I don't need that. And so that was like a glitch, but it didn't take away from her dress. And I thought that she did really good in that. Let me see.
She looks
was stunning. Archival Terry Mugler, and the worst of the worst for me was Erica Alexander in Christian Siriano. If this wasn't a tragedy waiting to be burned, I don't know we'll ever see anything this bad. I don't have any other commentary except for bad.
I can't for the life of me understand even the combination of the fabric, then what seems to be leather, and then that like I don't understand the combination at all. It was not good.
No, it's kind of tragic, actually. So first of all, you guys made great picks. For me, I thought Camila Mendez in Tamara Ralph was really gorgeous. The mermaid, I really loved the detail at the top. At a time when people are always going sheer, etc., she has the sculptural stuff covering up the nibbly bits. I thought it looked really, really exquisite.
Nibbly bits. That's a quote from Vash.
Yes. Come on now.
Next was Issa Rae in Valdrin Shahiti. I just thought the sculptural aspect of that white bow just looked really fantastic on her. I think that she's just really looking amazing these days, but she has coin.
Okay.
Next is Jessica Alba, also in Tamara Ralph. I realized that I am a Tamara Ralph guy because I just think that what Tamara put on the red carpet was really exquisite. This is tasteful. It's sweet while being sexy. I thought it's age appropriate. The shine. I really loved this dress. And then for me, this is Tracy Ellis Ross.
Is that Tracy?
Tracy Ellis Ross. I do not know what was going to. You know when someone gets dressed and they go out and you're like, "Did you have a stroke?" I don't even know. Like, is she going? Is it a bathing suit for a modest person? Like, what's happening? I don't know. But this was my worst dress. Someone should have stopped her.
There's a limit to trying to be different. There's a limit, and it
literally looks like she put it over her dress.
It's called a mirror. You look in it, and it will tell you the truth. So, ladies and gentlemen, these were our top and our worst picks from the Oscars. And it is showtime, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Vash. Thank you, Bobby.
Absolutely.
But it is showtime. And if you guys are ready, I'm ready to get our special guest in here because I don't know. I'm just so ready for you all to meet him. I've met him before at an art exhibit last year. And so to have him here right now is absolutely incredible. So can I introduce our next guest, please?
It's March for Art. Let's do it.
Wait.
All right. Cyrus A. Nelson is an Atlanta-based artist that sees his compositions and unions of textures, shapes, patterns, and colors that speak to the soul. His use of paint and collage create images that seemingly reach out from his canvas. From his artistic use of creativity in the field of interactive design to his most recent mixed media paintings, he expresses his love for form and movement. Cyrus holds a Bachelor of Arts in Graphic Design with a minor in Fashion Merchandising and Apparel Design, and a second Bachelor of Fine Arts in Interactive Design and Game Development from the Savannah College of Art and Design. He finds inspiration in relationships, travel, music, art, and family. And tonight, he's going to get even more inspiration right here on our platform. So please welcome our special guest, Cyrus A. Nelson.
Yeah.
Hey, Cyrus.
Thank you for having me.
Cyrus, you know, there's some guests that come on this show. First of all, your smile is just like, I thought it couldn't get any bigger than ours, but you just blend right in, Cyrus. So
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. So, like many of our guests, when our viewers meet our guests, there's always like an icebreaker. So I'm gonna kick it off and just ask you an icebreaker. It's not too bad. We're not gonna ask him something that's personal, ladies and gentlemen. But Cyrus, what are the 3 things that you like to do in your spare time when you are not creating art?
When I am not creating art, I love to watch period pieces for the most part. I love Podark, Bridgerton. I love period pieces. I don't know what it is, but I just love them. I love going back in time and, seeing how they live back in those those time periods. I love trying different foods. I'm a big foodie. I love to eat. Speaking of leftovers, Bobby.
Thank you for bringing that back up, Cyrus. I appreciate that. Yeah.
My pleasure.
The leftovers, not the. Oh my God.
I love experiencing different restaurants. And I love roller coasters. I'm a big kid at heart. So anytime I try to travel within the U.S., I love visiting different amusement parks. That's how I get my thrills. So, yes.
Wow.
All right. Well, at least if I hang out with you, I can go 2 for 3. Because I'm certainly not getting on a roller coaster anymore in my life ever. Okay, I'm not. So I can't do it. So Cyrus, let's jump right into it and tell us, when did your career as an artist actually begin?
My career as an artist actually began, I think, maybe in 2012. I worked for this company, a graphic design company, and I was doing commission pieces of art for clients behind the scenes. And later, a few years later, a friend of mine asked me to go to this Juneteenth festival. And I started there pretty much just showing pieces of my work in different prints and whatnot. And I saw how people were really interested in my work. And I was like, okay, well, this may be the start of something. Maybe I should start a website. And so I created the website. And then a few years later, in 2020, I was like, I should have an art show. And that was my first solo show, true solo show, where I rented out this space, taking a leap of faith. And I invited several people out that have known me through the years and whatnot. And it just took off from there pretty much. So, yes.
Wow.
Well, it's clear that
an entrepreneur. Wow.
It's clear that gift did not happen overnight. I mean, did you always know that this was something that could possibly be a part of your future?
For the most part, like growing up, I've been interested in art at the age of 5. So my parents always instilled in us, like, anything that saw their children that, like, okay, I see potential in my child within art. They bought me supplies and things to help nurture that. And so that led me into going to school for design. And they didn't want me to be a starving artist. Like my siblings, they majored in like electrical engineering, an accountant. So I knew in my heart that I wanted to do something creative. It had to be creative. They were like, no, architecture, be an architect, be a lawyer. I'm like, no, I need to do something creative. And I knew then, okay, if I'm going to pursue anything within the art and to also make my parents happy, then I need to infuse like just art, painting, and graphic design. I knew dealing with art and technology would be the way, you know. So that's what I decided to do.
Can I just say something? First of all, shout out to your parents, because there was so much love coming through your voice when you were talking about your parents. And I just have to shout out to Cyrus's parents. That's it. That's it. Okay.
It definitely takes a village.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to point out that you've got a few people who are saying hello to you specifically. P. Michael has said that it's nice to meet you. Lisa Pearl Black was so excited when it was showtime, meaning that you were about to come on. I don't know if y'all know each other, but you have a new fan there.
And she's like, hey.
Hey. Well, we're glad that we were the opening, Lisa. Okay.
His opening act, exactly.
Opening act,
exactly.
yes.
Like Madonna, he has come on late, but he is here for you. So, Cyrus, you've been doing art-ish stuff since such a young age. At what point did you really say to yourself, wow, I'm an artist?
Let's see. I mean, there's been several stages, though. You know how, like, when it takes a lot of confidence to do what you do, to put yourself out to the world. And I think it finally hit me, as I mentioned earlier, at that festival, to see people coming to me and said, oh, wow, I love this. I love what you do. And then for me to, after that show in 2020, the solo show that I had was called Leap, Learn, Evolve, Aspire, and Prevail. After that show, it gave me even more confidence. And then I started connecting with other people, because one door opens other doors. And I entered this competition. It's called Articulate Atlanta. And it's a great platform for emerging artists to showcase and highlight their work. And it's a great opportunity to be a part of that and to collaborate with other artists. And to be honest, the first year that I applied, I wasn't accepted, but I didn't let that stop me. And I decided, I'm going to give it one more try. I'm going to try again. And the second time I did it, I ended up getting second place. And the third year I got first place. So among all those other artists, that was like, okay, God is telling you, this is what you should be doing, so.
You mentioned the name of the show, and I'm not going to repeat it because I don't want to mess it up, but I am going to ask you to repeat it, because it made me think about the question of whether or not, as an artist, there is a message that you hope that your art portrays. What is it? What is that messaging that you hope that your art conveys to those who see it?
Okay. Well, within my body of work, I love color. I think everyone knows I love color. So despite what I have on today, I do love color. I show that in my work. So,
but there's a lovely orchid right next to you. So.
Right back there. Okay.
Yes. So basically, color, taking the graphic design, showing typography within my work, the textures, the fashion marketing background. I try to infuse all of those elements that represent me. Mm-hmm. Within each piece, you can tell, like, as far as I try to bring hope and light to people. People tell me when they view my body of work that they're happy. It brings them joy. We've been oppressed as a people, Black and brown people, for so long. So I try to create pieces that counteract that and to show light for the next generation, to show we can achieve, we can overcome certain things, because we already have art that represents us in the struggles that we've gone through. But I try to create things that just typically bring joy to people and make them happy and just positive work. So,
and Lord knows we could all use that. So thank you.
Especially in this day and time. We
Absolutely.
And you bring it in droves. It's really, truly fantastic, your work. So you're classified as a mixed media artist. Yes. Can you, what does that mean exactly?
Mixed media for me is just found objects, infusing the typography, newspaper, things that represent me. Like I can take a shoestring from a rock to this and create something beautiful. I don't know how to explain it. It's like you just have this, you have the idea and you're like, I'm going to use this. Or I could just be walking somewhere and pick up a piece of trash. I think I'm going to infuse this within a piece of art, and it just comes to life. So that is what mixed media is. Infusing paint, like I said, textures, fabrics, anything you can name. If you can put it on canvas, glass, that's mixed media.
Wow. Don't pick up trash. You get your hands dirty. Okay, but
but that's how we got here, Bobby.
See,
What a bum. Okay, so
see,
Alvin's like, okay, focus, get back on in.
no. I bought my yellow towel today so I wouldn't get so verklempt by you all going in on one another. Okay, we do have guests, but I want to say something. I see a comment from Lisa Pearl Black, which touched me. She said, "Cyrus, you are very blessed. My dream as a creative was not allowed by my parents."
Oh,
and I'm gonna tell you, Lisa, you're not the only one, because I had to go to therapy because my mother didn't let me go to Duke Ellington School of the Performing Arts when I was a child.
Wow.
So I'm sorry, I don't mean to get like a little cracky voice, but I feel you, my sister. So you hang in there and you be all you can be, however you want to be it. So thanks for Cyrus allowing you to bring that out. Thank you.
It's never too late. It is never too late.
Never too late.
I was going to say it is never too late, because look at me. I thought, like I said, my parents, they did instill in me like, okay, you want to be an artist, that's fine. However, I was focused on corporate America. And so until things happened, the recession and then the pandemic is what really forced me to push it, because as I became older, I realized, okay, I'm working this corporate job that's 9 to 5, and there's nothing wrong with that. I thought I could have both. And then for me to take after that festival, for me to take the leap of faith after the website, saying, okay, well, I feel like I can do this more and more. I started getting more confidence. I wish I had that confidence in my 20s, but I didn't. But everything happens for a reason in its own timing. So this is my time now, because I had to prepare for it. And I'm still preparing. I take each day as a lesson, and I learn and grow each day within what I'm doing. And the only thing I can do is just step out on faith and take it day by day. So it's never too late. So
beautiful.
Well, you're clearly a gifted artist. And one of the things that we often ask those with artistic talents who join our show is to share with us influences, those things or people or things that influence and inform your art.
Okay, well, a lot of my influences, like I said, my family, relationships, just being around people, I get influenced by several things, poems, movie titles. But as far as artists that truly influence me, I love Picasso. He influences me. I will say there's a lot of African influence within my work. So you notice that with the mask, I don't know what it is, but I love mask. I love masks. And I try to infuse those things, because when people see my work, they're like, oh, I can definitely tell that is from Cyrus Nelson. So that's good. They're starting to see like, okay, the significance, like your work is, you can tell that it's me. And that's important, that people can recognize your work now. But, Romare Bearden for the Mixed Media, Jacob Lawrence, Basquiat, people tell me, they compare me a lot to, they said, well, they tell me that your work reminds me of Basquiat. But then this one man told me one time at a show, he was like, if Basquiat was still alive, you're more refined, where he's all over, when you look at his body of work, that if he was still alive today, you're like a refined version of that, if that makes any sense.
It does. It really does.
I was going to ask you about inspirations as well as influences. You kind of answered that question, but I do want to ask, one of the things that you mentioned that inspires you is travel. So tell us the one place that you've traveled to that has had the greatest inspiration for you.
I finally, in 2020, and that was supposed to be, you mentioned to me earlier before the show, as far as a milestone birthday, correct? I wanted to go to Paris, Europe, to, just the whole vibe. I've always wanted to do that. I still want to go to South Africa as well, but I've always wanted to go to Europe, and I kept pushing it off and pushing it off. And when the pandemic hit, I was like, okay, well, I can't do it now, but I'm going to do it one day. So after taking some time off, actually this past fall in 2023 in September, I took myself to Europe, Amsterdam, Paris, and London. And I fell in love with Paris, just the art, the vibe, the city. And I have some things in my sketchbook that I plan on working on in 2024. So yes, so Paris really inspired me. Just going to the Louvre and just going to the Egyptian art and the sculptures and all that inspired me.
I completely get it. I traveled to Paris several years ago, and it was life-changing. It was absolutely
Yes. It got to the point where even I went with a group of guys that I love and adore. I call them my second family. And I would, in the mornings, I would go sit at a cafe and have my croissant and just the vibe. Just I like.
You went in. You became Parisian.
Yes. I wore my neutrals.
You have a little tam on,
I didn't even know. It was like a tourist.
That's hilarious. Yeah. So you've got all this inspiration, etc., around you. How do you actually get into the mood to then sit, work, and create?
Gotcha. A lot of people ask me that question too, and the crazy part of that is I don't need wine. People ask me, "Do you drink wine? Do you have to play like soft jazz? What gets you in the mood to create?" And I actually don't even need anything. Once I get an idea and it's in my head, I just go with it. I'll have Judge Judy on in the background.
No.
Watching her like just lash at people and whatnot. That's actually what gets me in the mood, honestly. So
violence. I love it.
in order for me to create peace and harmony, yes.
Yes.
Someone saying you're an idiot, like she really gives it to you.
Well, I have to tell you, this is the part of the show that I have been waiting for, ladies and gentlemen. So let me just go ahead and set this up. We're going to take you, viewers, on a journey through Cyrus's work, and I'm gonna ask my producer to, leave the image up for about 2 or 3 seconds, and move on, and so that you can get a feel of what we see when we see the work of Cyrus Nelson.
Wow. Cyrus, do you want to tell us anything about any of these pieces? Like what we should be looking for, any symbolisms, anything?
Oh, yes, we can go back to the first slide if we can. If not, that's okay. We can.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. This is one of my favorites, so thank you. I wasn't trying to keep him from doing this, but there's something that I want to show you. But keep on. Go ahead, Cyrus. Tell us about this one.
So I mentioned earlier to you about the message that I try to portray in my work, convey in my work, and it's about hope and light. And this piece is about, if you notice in the background, this little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. So there's a female component to this piece as well, but this is called Beacon Mill. And so we should be a lighthouse. That was my take on this particular piece, being a lighthouse and letting your light shine for others to see. Now, we're not going to be in the background. We are going to shine, and we are going to stand forth in what we believe. So,
beautiful.
Okay, this piece is called Black Sheep. This piece is about, sometimes we are on a black sheep, like, I don't know from my upbringing or your upbringing, past or whatnot, but sometimes we don't fit in society or what society norms are, their standards. But know that we are all created to be unique and individually, to be individuals. And this is what that piece represents. Like, no matter what, this young man is away from his tribe, but he finds hope and light and beauty within himself. And it's like learning to love and accept yourself for who you are, if that makes any sense for this particular Black Sheep.
This is one of my favorites.
Thank you. This piece is called Bloom. So this piece is right now on display at the Zuccotti Gallery here in Atlanta, Georgia. And it's a part of a 5-piece collection. And it's about learning to evolve and grow. So we are seen as seeds, where you start off as a seed, where you grow, you sprout, grow, you bloom, and you flourish. So that's what this piece represents. And I love Birds of Paradise. So and this is South African. They originated from South Africa. So as you can see in that piece too, you see the cowrie shell, the portrait of the mask. So that's that particular piece. But yes, this piece is called Cozy, where we should be able to rely on each other. Like I mentioned earlier, it takes a village. So yes, the colors, very calming. We can rely and depend on one another. We should always be there to uplift each other. Like I said, mentioned in my work, I try to represent positivity and light. You shouldn't turn your back on your brother. You should be there for your brother. So yes, this piece it's called Mind Over Matter. What I can say about this piece is it deals with mental health in the Black and brown community. We have the good, the bad, and the ugly. And it can be a struggle sometimes. And we all have gone through things in life, but it's being able to talk about it and to find value in yourself and know that you are enough and you are worthy. So yes. This piece is from actually the Juneteenth collection a few years ago. And I want to create a piece about Negro spirituals. So there was some called We Go Left. I can't remember all of the names, but yes, I love this piece because I played with like different fabrics and textures. And this was about, like I said, mentioned earlier, the Juneteenth collection, as far as dealing with when the slaves were emancipated and whatnot. So yes. This piece is called Resilient. I just want to create this brother that was cool and dope, and he wasn't going to let anything stand in his way. I don't know how else to explain this piece. It was in my head, and people loved it. It was collected right away when I created this piece. But as you can see, my signature as far as the textures and different fabrics and the string, like I mentioned earlier, found objects that I tried to create to compose a cool and unique piece that you haven't seen before, for the most part. So.
I'm not going to take any credit, but you could have called this "It's Me" or Cyrus. You could have just said, because I see you in that.
Awesome. And art is so subjective, and it's so interesting too when people look at I love to, when I'm at a gallery, I love to hear other people's perspective on what they see, and it's a lot of times completely different from what I see, and that's the beauty of art. People resonate with things that speak to them, and everyone has their own story.
And last but not least,
this piece is very significant to me because it is called Passage, and it was a part of that 2020 show that I decided to keep for myself. This piece represents learning, evolving, aspiring, and prevailing, and we all go through highs and lows, and this piece represents my journey and what I've gone through to get where I am today. And it's still a journey, but I'm grateful to be a part of this journey. And this is what this piece represents. I'm going to still keep running till I reach that finish line. So, yes.
Wow. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there you, that's
incredible.
First of all, can y'all just clap? Y'all can say, hey, y'all can just say click, 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 whatever you need to do in the comment section. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I want to take this moment also to congratulate you, Cyrus, because in February, you partnered with West Helm, the leader in home furnishings, and you had an original piece that sold, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it has been now added to the West Helm brand, and so are prints now available. The piece is called Into the Wilderness. And I didn't see an image of it, but I just want to congratulate you because you're doing everything that you're wanting to walk into.
Thank you.
You are walking into excellence. And when I saw this, I just wanted to make sure that we congratulated you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm truly honored to be here with you guys. Yes, this whole journey has led me to, it started off from a Juneteenth festival to me having a solo show, to me being in the mayor's office, West Elm, the Atlanta Symphony, partnering with them, and BET. So yes, this has been a great journey so far. Nice. And to answer your question about that piece sold, but you can get prints of certain pieces and even future work off of the website. But the way people contact me through, as far as originals, collecting originals, you can contact me through Instagram, Facebook, or through the website in the contact me section. So, but I sell the prints on my website.
Okay, we have your website that we're going to put up and your Instagram that we're going to put up. I think there it is right there. Yes, there it is right there.
Cyrus, you have so much going on your pieces with the collage and the paint and the mixed media and everything. How do you know when it's done?
I feel like you just know. There's no, you just know. I can work on a piece And Vash, I will go back and like, okay, it needs a little of this, a little bit of that. It may take me a few weeks or a month, depending on the size of the piece. And you just know, spiritually, you just know, like, okay, it's complete now. And that's it. Honestly.
Well, the fact that you give it time, where you're like, I think it's done, but I think I want to do a little something, something, and go away and come back. That's a long process. I totally love and respect that. Thank you for explaining that.
I never try to rush anything when I'm doing commissions or when I'm creating work, because people tell me, I can tell you put love into that particular piece. And so I make sure I take my time to make sure it's right. It's like a puzzle to me. And you only you know, just like a composer, when he's a piece of music, music or whatnot, they know when it's okay, it's finished now. Same concept.
Well, it is clear that being an artist brings you joy. And obviously, based upon the response of our viewers, and I'm sure since that Juneteenth festival, it's obvious that you bring people joy. But what for you, Cyrus, is the best part of being an artist?
I get to share my story. I think that's the best part. I love people's reactions to my work, whether it's good or bad. It's a reaction, and that's what you want art to do. You know, everyone's not going to love what you do, but I cater to the people who do love what I do, and that's all that matters. But I love to share my story and just, I just love.
And you do it well.
Thank you.
Well, we could not let you go without ending this conversation. This is not an interview, ladies and gentlemen. This is a conversation. We are all in each other's living room, literally, right now. And I want to ask you, Cyrus, what advice, knowing what you know now, give to your younger self?
The advice I would give to my younger self would be to just have confidence, know who you are, and you are enough. No matter what other people tell you, doors will close, but there will be a door that will open for you. You know, it doesn't matter what, as long as you believe in what you're doing and stay prayed up, God will make a way for you. So, yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, I promise you all, before we came on, I told them there was something that was very centered about this interview, about this conversation with tonight with Cyrus. Cyrus, thank you so much for being here with us tonight. Thank you for sharing your art, yourself, and just your love with all of us tonight.
Absolutely. One of our viewers just noted that he likes your piece, Birth of a Leo, I think is
I just recently posted that. That was a commission for a client in New York. So yes.
Okay, not to put everything out in the street, but I'm going to dinner with that. That you know what? I was going to say, hey Rodney, how you doing, Rodney? How you doing, Rodney? But I saw that too. Rodney, good to see you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are continuing our March for Art series again. Next week, we have 2 more weeks to go, and we're going to bring you another incredible artist. Our artist next week is right here from Washington, D.C. His name is Glenn Fry. And I'm telling you, his art also is going to blow you away. Glenn is going to be here to tell you his story and talk to us about, all that's going on with him. And for our words of the week this week, we're taking them from none other than Shirley Chisholm. If they don't give you a seat at the table, bring a folding chair. And we all know what a folding chair can do, ladies and gentlemen. We saw the power of a folding chair last year. It took us out of here, okay? But so Shirley, you were before your time.
Ahead of her time. But what a wonderful show tonight. What a wonderful show, Cyrus.
I would like to say, Alvin, Vash, and Bobby, thank you so much for having me. I'm so grateful for this opportunity. Thank you.
Yeah,
you blessed us. You blessed us.
You really did. And I'm going to have a Cyrus Nelson piece. You all don't get used to what y'all see behind me. Okay, I'm going to have a Cyrus Nelson piece in my house. But ladies and gentlemen, please have a good weekend. Be safe. It is St. Patty's Day weekend. Be responsible. Take care of yourself. Love your tribe and just be safe out there. And we look forward to seeing you next week on a new episode of He Said.
He said.
All right.
And he said tonight also. Take care, everybody. Have a good weekend.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks.